Car fix back. Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Car fix back.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of First Canada Live. I'm your host Karthik, and we are going to be having a great show today. So much good stuff happening in the world of First Canada, and we're going to tell you all about it. And to help us do that, we have our co-host today, student on First Team 5024 Radar Robotics and a member of the First Canada Youth Council. Say hello to Jordan.
Hey everyone.
How's it going, buddy? Did I point in the right direction? I don't even know. Maybe you're over here.
I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell with these sorts of things. Hopefully I did. Someone in chat, tell me if I pointed in the right direction, you know? Jordan, how's it been, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is your first time hosting the show, isn't it?
Yes, this is my first time on First Canada Live. Oh, wait,
you-
actually, it's not my first time on First Canada Live.
Oh,
I think I was with my team's strategy sub-team when First Canada Live was just kicking off, but it's my
that's
first
right.
time as a host.
In the spring. That's right. We talked to your strategy sub team. I remember there was a cool presentation on the data stuff that you had done. Sarah told us all sorts of good stuff. That was a good time.
Yeah.
And that's what we do on First Canada Live. We talk about good stuff. And Jordan, we got a lot of good stuff happening today.
Yeah.
Including we are going to be chatting with Elizabeth Moses, who is a first alum who's done a lot of cool things. So that'll be very nice. So story time with Elizabeth. And we got a recap of last week's FLL Challenge, Western, North Bay, and Windsor qualifying events. So I've been told that Jordan is right over here. There we go. Everything's mirrored. It's a lot to handle, you know. But this is going to be a really fun show tonight. We got to show you some Lego matches, some Lego presentations, all sorts of good stuff. If you have any questions for us, for any of the guests, about anything that's going on, drop them in chat. We'll answer them live on the air. At least we will try. And also remember, we're here to celebrate, have some fun, and celebrate some excellence in our community. So let's keep it positive and keep the energy going. And speaking of positive energy, the Youth Council has had this great idea all throughout this year of us doing a little bit of a wellness moment on First Canada Live, just so we're all taking care of ourselves. And today, Jordan is facilitating today's wellness moment.
Yeah. So for our wellness moment for today's stream, I thought I would talk about just giving genuine compliments. So, you know, expressing gratitude for others is like an awesome positivity boost, and it's something that I like to incorporate in my everyday life. And not only does it feel awesome to receive a genuine compliment, but it also feels really great to give them. And, you know, for me, it boosts my self-confidence. It gives me an increasingly positive mindset and an even better sense of well-being. And the act of like giving genuine compliments creates a virtuous circle. It reinforces people's sense of value, and it also strengthens the relationships between one another and in a team overall. So, you know, compliments make other people feel good, and it makes others want to be around you. And in fact, giving compliments is a form of leadership and influence, because it feels really great to be around really positive people rather than negative people. And it also promotes a healthier teamwork environment. And it can also make long, hard, and arduous work just not as somber. So why don't we try giving each other compliments now, even if it is just a little bit cheesy. So Karthik, I just want to thank you so much for being such an amazing leader within First. And, you know, someday I'd really love to be able to inspire and invoke such passion in as many people as you do. So.
Oh, well, thank you, Jordan. That is super, super nice. And Jordan, I want to say, compliment you. I think the leadership you've shown this year on the Youth Council, especially with the EDI magazine, which everyone should check out. Jordan, where can they check that out?
Oh, they can check that out at magazine.firstcanada.org.
There you go. And like, so you should check this out. And Jordan's like, there's been a lot of people involved in it, but Jordan is really kind of been spearheading this effort, and that's been absolutely amazing. And Jordan, I just kind of love the spirit you bring to everything you do. You know, it's like it's enthusiasm, it's energy, it's joy, you know, and it's just like there's a lot of reason, you know, we could focus on negativity, but you seem to always be focused on the positive and that sort of energy. And I love it. So thank you for that, Jordan.
Thanks.
And so I think all of you out there, you know, like take Jordan's advice, give some compliments, because we were talking about this pre-show with one of our producers, Heather, like compliments are contagious, you know, and it really, you spread that kind of chain and it just kind of goes out there. And, you know, everyone has so much negativity in their lives. Like it's our job to make up for that with positivity. And like, you know, a friend of mine was telling me, like, one of his leadership courses that he took, they said you should always focus, like, as a leader, you should be giving out 6 times as many compliments as you are criticism. So like it should be a 6-to-1 ratio. And we know a lot of people get criticism out there. So let's buoy it up and let's bring up that side of the ratio, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that, Jordan. And compliment away, people. Let's do that. Hop in chat. Compliment each other in chat, folks. Do that right now. And while they're doing that, Jordan, let's talk about some news updates from First Canada. So the Game Design Challenge and the Innovation Challenge. Jordan, have you been working on those with your team this year, or?
We've been talking about it and we've been trying to get some stuff done. So,
Well, the deadline is Thursday. So teams need to get their submissions in. And for the skills challenges, you might be thinking, oh, well, Karthik's about to tell us that this is the deadline for the skills challenges is April 8th. So we have lots of time. Well, you do, but you don't, because you have to opt into the skills challenges by March 4th. And that includes getting your awards blurbs filled in. So Thursday is the big day, everyone. Get opted in, get submitted. It's on a different website. It's not where you submitted chairman's and dean's list. So it's frcathome.org. And your lead mentor has to go do it. And your lead mentor can get a code from their dashboard. But this is not something you want to leave to the last minute, everyone. So, you've been working really hard on these submissions and, interviewing people for the Innovation Challenge, designing CADing games and all that sort of stuff. You want to make sure that gets judged and you want to make sure that gets submitted. So start looking into this stuff right now. And if you're like the student leader who's involved with the submission and you're like, oh, I don't know how to submit, like email your mentor right now, because your mentor might not know. But that way they'll have all of Wednesday to figure it out and then you can get submitted on Thursday. So like time is running out. I don't mean to belabor the point here, but like it would be heartbreaking to hear your story of we designed this amazing game, but no one got to see it because the internet died, and so early, right, Jordan?
yes, definitely.
All right. And other things that you can be doing. We got lots of cool stuff coming up. So this past weekend, and we're going to be talking about it at length with Sydney in the next segment, we had 3 FLL events that were broadcast on Twitch TV/First Canada right here, this very channel. Next week, there's going to be another one. It's going to be the Waterloo remote event. So if you're enjoying the FLL excitement, you're learning about on First Canada Live, tune in for the event, 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And then the following week, it's our first FTC qualification event of the season, which is really, really exciting. It's actually the first ever FTC, well, first like in like a decade FTC qualification event. Because last year we just had the provincial championship, but this year there's a couple qualifiers, and then everyone can go to the provincial championship. But that'll be really neat to see. So that's going to be the same thing. Next 2 Saturdays, 10 a.m., twitch.tv/First Canada. Tune in for all the excitement. Also coming up, hey Jordan, did you hear that there's going to be a STEMathon?
Oh, I did hear about that.
That's right. The STEMathon is taking place March 20th to March 21st. The STEMathon is an event where teams of 4 or 5 students, you can sign up as a team or you can sign up and be assigned to work with others, work together to solve really difficult problems. You're going to be posed a problem. You have to come up with like an invention or like an idea or a business idea to solve it. So it's like the Innovation Challenge, except you'll have to do it in 24 hours. But you are not alone. Students will be paired up with various First Canada mentors and volunteers. We got 25 of some of the coolest people in the program who are going to be available to be on your team to support you. People like game announcer James Spencer or like lead mentor for Team 1310, Lisa Ramraj. These are the type of people you could have on your team. Like you go to the events and you're like, oh, wow, I really, really wish I could meet Sydney. She's the coolest. Sydney might be your mentor, but you have to sign up to get into the fun. And the deadline is this Friday. So there's only a limited amount of spots available. So I recommend sign up. Go to firstroboticscanada.org, scroll down, look for the big button that says STEMathon, hammer that button, sign up. STEMathon Girls and Allies 2021. It'll be great. And it's open to everyone. It'll be a very good time. Jordan, are you helping out with the STEMathon? Are you volunteering?
I'm hoping to, so
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, because there's going to be some cool stuff. Because it's not just the STEMathon that happens. There is a great there's opening ceremonies with guest speakers and stuff, but also there's going to be a social night a couple of nights before the STEMathon. We're all like 70 to 100 participants will get together, and there's going to be some games going on. There's going to be code words. I hear a rumor there's going to be some First Among Us happening. So like a lot of cool stuff going on. Like you should definitely take part in the STEMathon. Like I'm super jazzed for it. And for all of you, I know like if there wasn't a pandemic, last week we would have been at Durham College, and next week we would have been at Humber and George and doing like in-person competitions and all that excitement and energy. But we had a STEMathon last June, And it was as close to a real competition atmosphere as I have seen. Because not just the competitive part, but like just getting to talk to people from other teams and getting to know people. And sure, it's being all done virtually. It's all happening via a Slack platform. But it was like kind of great because like teams were asking questions about their submission, working with the mentors. But at the same time, they're just like sending memes off and firing them off and having jokes and just having a good time like it's an event. And, a lot of people made a lot of cool friends. So I really recommend you sign up for the STEMathon. We got a couple more minutes here in this segment, and I touched on it by accident. I didn't even think about it. But like, Jordan, you want to tell the audience a little bit more about the First Canada magazine?
Oh yeah. So our First Canada magazine, we're producing it quarterly, so that's 4 times a year. And just recently in our last issue, we've had some really cool stuff. So we have our kind of different sections. So we have a Hear from the Youth Council section. So that's normally you can meet us and everyone on the First Canada Youth Council and see what we're up to and what we're working on and how that intertwines with what you see here. And we also have different interviews from different teams. And oh, this is really great. And you can also interact with the first magazine. And so for each issue, we usually send out forms and you can give quick team updates or even after you guys finally compete with, the first innovation challenge, you can write about it and just send it to us and get yourself featured within the magazine. Or you can get yourself featured with a daily little question that comes out for the magazine as well. So you get to see your own face on the magazine.
That is very, very exciting. And how do teams, now you told us earlier how to get to the magazine, it's magazine.firstroboticscanada.org. How do they submit entries and stuff?
Well, on all of First Canada's social medias, I believe we have a link tree on the profile. And if you click on the link tree, you'll see the First Canada magazine's name being first, and then it'll have a little subtitle with the type of form and how you can get involved with the First Canada magazine. So
very excited. And so when's that next issue coming out?
The next issue is coming out from what would have been March break, but it's coming up soon though. So.
Coming up soon. Anything to get excited about? Any special features you can tell us about? Or is it like top secret?
I guess I could tell you a bit about it. We do have an interview from an FTC team from another country. So we're really excited to have them be featured in our next issue.
Well, very nice. I think that's going to be very exciting. Check out the magazine. It is really, really well done. And it's just another way to stay connected with the community, to see what's happening. I know you have like the Humans of, is it the Humans of First Canada? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Humans of First.
Yeah, and I really love that piece because you just, you get to hear people's stories. That's what I love to see. Our community is so diverse and there's just a cross section of so many different people and everyone has a great story. And so it's a nice chance to be able to hear it all. So that is very, very exciting. Okay, well, that's the news updates from everything that's going on here. And we're going to be back in just a moment to start talking FLL Challenge. But before we do that, let's take a look at this video from one of our sponsors, Studica.
Studica wants to help to inspire young people to pursue a career in science, technology, engineering, and math.
FIRST has given me more STEM opportunities than anywhere else.
I'm a FIRST alumnus and now an electrical engineer.
Everything I learned in FIRST, I apply to my career.
FIRST has opened my eyes to the future.
We are proud to support FIRST Robotics Canada.
All right, well, thank you, Studica, for all your support of FIRST Canada. It's really, really amazing, this partnership. All right, well, I think it's now time to talk First LEGO League Challenge, and who better to do that with than none other than she is a First Canada alum of Team 1305 Ice Cube and a First Canada Master of Ceremonies who this past weekend was co-emceeing with me for the North Bay remote qualifying event for First LEGO League Challenge. It's Sydney Lamori. Hey, Sydney.
Hey, Karthik. Hey, Jordan.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so great. And I just want to extend a compliment to you both for being such genuine people and welcoming. It really is going to be amazing talking with you two about First LEGO League, and I can't wait to get started.
Well, thank you, Sydney. And a compliment I want to extend to you is thank you for coming on the show. I always get so pumped when we get to work together. And I know it's been a while since Provincials 2019. It has been a while, but, we did the FLL event last weekend and we did the first Gateway conference in the fall. And we're doing First Canada Live now. And then in a couple of weeks, we're doing the STEMathon together. So I am super pumped that I got my buddy Sydney back. So that's great.
I'm super pumped. I got my friend Karthik back and my new friend Jordan.
There we go. So Sydney, this weekend there was a lot of FLL, right?
There was so much FLL. We had, I think it was about a full day of FLL, a full waking day of FLL. And it was so cool. I just love being around these students because FLL is elementary school, but the ideas they put out are like university level. The projects, the submissions, the robots, they're so impressive and they're so inspiring. I wish I was one of them when I grew up. No, I hope I'm one of them when I grow up. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we had 3 events this weekend. And, obviously, we all know we wish that we could be at the events screaming, dancing, getting excited. World's different right now, and we're just trying to make the best of it. But these showcase events were super neat because we got to watch matches from teams, which, we get to do in person. But we also got to look behind the scenes. We got to see some teams' project presentations. So they were coming up with real world solutions to big problems. And I was blown away. Now, Jordan, did you get a chance to watch some of this stuff?
Oh, yes. Oh, the FLL teams are so amazing.
Yeah.
They're so inspiring. And especially for elementary school kids, even as a high schooler, I'm like, oh my gosh, these kids are amazing.
And so, when I was in elementary school, some of the projects people would do would be like, my project is on bunnies. I think bunnies are cute. Bunnies hop. Bunnies like to eat carrots. When you see these presentations, this is like, we have identified that students with diabetes often have trouble being active because they're afraid of breaking their insulin pump. So we've come up with a new insulin pump. Seriously, that's one of the things we're going to be showing today. It's that deep and that awesome. But at the same time that they're doing this, they're building these crazy complex robots that are entirely autonomous for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So there's just goodness happening all over the place. So it was so much fun doing these events. But what we're doing today is we're going to do a little bit of a recap for each of the events. So we had the Western Engineering event, the North Bay event, and the Windsor event. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Western Engineering event. And so, Jordan, you spoke at this event last year, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
What was your topic that you were speaking about?
So I was there on the behalf of my own FRC team 5024.
Radar Robotics.
Radar Robotics, yep. And
so
we were there and we gave a quick presentation on what we did as our own team and also, FRC as a whole and what lies beyond FLL in the FIRST community. And it was really, really awesome being there and just seeing all these kids and presenting the robots and they're talking so passionately about their projects. I'm even inspired by them. And I'm just so excited to see what they do in FRC and FTC and just everything that they do in the future.
Yeah.
So.
It is very, very exciting. So the Western Engineering event happened, and there were, I believe, 14, 15 teams at this event, and it was very, very high quality. And one of the things that happened at this event was the new Ontario high score was set at this event, 525 points. And for, numbers mean nothing unless there's context, and some context, the world high score is 590. So that's how close this was to getting up to that level. So this team that put up this score was team 939, the Turtle Bots. So not only are they doing these crazy high scores, they are carrying their homes on their backs. So lots of good stuff happening here. And let's check out the Turtle Bots 525 point match. And we're gonna talk our way through this match so you can kind of see what is happening.
1, Lego.
And so for FLL teams, they have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But they have to go entirely autonomous and do their routines. So there's no drivers that, they're just standing there and the robot's doing its thing. And they got to complete all these various missions. So they have
15 missions.
Right. And so they're raising the basketball net right now to the top level. And did they deposit the ball in there already? And they just dropped the ball in. Very nicely done. And this is one program. Sometimes FRC teams just drive straight and that's their entire autonomous mode for the season.
If the autonomous works.
Yeah, depositing all those cubes. And this is a robot they designed themselves. They designed all the arms, all the gadgetry that's working there. And it's going to be able to compete a variety of missions, very diverse set of missions right here. Now they got to flip that tire. So the same thing that's flipping the tire was lifting the basketball net. So it's multifunctionality. And again, autonomous, all these adjustments. Notice the driver has not done anything with this robot because they can bring the robot back to base and reset it. And most teams do that a lot, but they're just going to keep on going with that mission. That's the weightlifting one, I believe, the dumbbell, right, Sydney?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, going over the treadmill. They got to just spin that to the there's a little knob there. They got to spin to the right spot so that they're using their drivetrain as a spinner to complete one of these missions.
It's very impressive that they haven't gone back to home base and
They
swapped
have
out
not
some
gone
of their
back to home
arms.
base.
Yeah.
Now they're doing the step counter, which you can't do too fast because you have to make sure every step actually counts. So they have to push it at like a very controlled rate. Now under the bar, which is super difficult as well, because we all know from FRC times when you have to go under things like the trench run last year. Oh, I forget which mission that is, but that was successfully done. They have not come back to base yet. This is mind blowing. Teams usually come back to base like 5-6 times.
At least to swap out arms, switch codes, do so many.
Started to reset themselves so they know their orientation. Because think about it, all the turns they've made. That means they have a full positioning system to know exactly where the robot is and to know that error hasn't accumulated. And now they're just dancing because the last thing you can do is your robot can dance for extra points at the end. So they're just kind of dancing, and we can be dancing. Jordan, you gonna be dancing? So nicely done, Turtlebots. 525 points right there. That is fantastic.
They really scooted along and came out of their shells to pull that win. It's
that
amazing.
one too. Show it slow and steady will win the race, right, Sydney?
Oh, every time.
So great job to the Turtlebots. That was just absolutely blew all of us away. And now the question is someone going to top that 525 point score in Ontario? Well, we will find out this weekend in Waterloo and going on to the provincial championship. But we told you a little bit about FLL, and we talked about the robots, and we talked a little bit about the presentations. I think we should see one of these really cool presentations. So let's take a look at this presentation, and honestly, prepare for your jaw to drop. Because when I saw this one, I was like, I mean, the robots are great, but this one I was like, wait, how old are these children? Because this is like, impressive. Team 3875, the Cordy Patch Kids, and their presentation video.
Good morning, judges. We are Team 5875, the Cordy Patch Kids.
In 2012, 27-year-old Nathan Gafweek, a lone Canadian male competing at the London Summer Olympics. For most athletes, the Olympics is a crowning achievement, but for Nathan, it has been a lifetime of managing an uphill battle with no map.
Nathan Gafweek is the 1 in 100,000 that suffers from Addison's. People with Addison's disease aren't able to produce enough steroid hormones.
This is due to their adrenal cortex malfunctioning.
They experience fatigue, muscle weakness, increased skin pigmentation, weight loss or decreased appetite, decrease in heart rate/blood pressure, low blood sugar levels, fainting spells, sores in their mouths, salt cravings, nausea, and vomiting. If their cortisol level get too low, they may encounter an Addisonian crisis.
When Nathan was 16, he clipped his neck at competition, landing on his face. Cortisol should have flooded the body to help with the shock. Without that, Gafweek's blood pressure plummeted and it sent him into a coma. He was rushed into hospital, where doctors had no idea what was wrong.
Harold Smith, president of Addison's Canada, tells us this is a common occurrence. So much regarding managing Addison's is based on trial and error.
If an Addison's patient wants to know their cortisol levels, they go for blood work. When they finally get the information back, the results are hours, if not days old, and don't tell them anything about their levels at the moment. This outdated information is what most endocrinologists work off when they're prescribing to Addison's patients.
For Nathan, it took him years to properly understand how his own body and the amount to updose before each exercise to compensate for the loss in cortisol he was about to experience. He still admits he doesn't have it perfectly down pat. This puts a limit on his day-to-day capabilities.
We discovered Addison's while doing extensive research into other diseases that may prevent individuals from being able to move, work out, or exercise. Diseases like osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, spinal muscular atrophy, and peripheral neuropathy.
We felt very strongly that if someone isn't motivated to move their body, they won't. People can be stubborn.
But what about people who want to exercise but their bodies aren't letting them? They already have the mindset but lack the tools to do it.
We kept coming back to Addison's because it just seemed like such an obvious solution. Addison's patients are constantly having to guess. Their entire medical experience, including taking medication, is based on how they feel. Wouldn't it make more sense to provide them with a real-time measure of their cortisol levels?
Introducing the Cortipatch, wearable technology that monitors the user's cortisol levels in real time and administers a hydrocortisone shot, if necessary, during exertion. The Cortipatch is a two-component system. One component, a wrist sensor, is worn every day, while the second component, Our pod patch is worn only during physical activity.
Our design utilizes our special cortisol sensor, which is based off our proof of concept from Stanford University. Cortisol is not an easy hormone to detect, unless you're looking for absences. Cortisol, when it enters the sensor, acts as an inhibitor or blocker of the ions that are in our sweat. Ions such as potassium and sodium.
Worn around the wrist like a bracelet or Fitbit to provide the sensor with the most amount of surface space. The sensor sucks in sweat from the skin. The charged ions attempt to pass through the sensor's membrane unless they are being blocked by the cortisol. The sensor detects those backed up charged ions and is able to calculate the amount of cortisol present.
The wristband's Universal Wireless Electrochemical Detector, or UED potentiostat, will relay the information to the user's smartphone so that an application can analyze the data, monitor trends, and most importantly, when worn with their pod, it provides the wearer with injections of the hydrocortisone while working out.
Based on the design of the Omnipod Dash, a tubeless insulin pump that provides up to 3 days of nonstop insulin deliveries, we designed the Cortipatch Pod to be worn during physical activity. Loaded up with hydrocortisone, the pod is instructed to inject the user, depending on the user's real-time cortisol levels. The pod is also waterproof with an IP28 rating for up to 7.6 meters for 60 minutes, allowing for time-managed water activities.
The pod is able to create a dosage ratio unique to the user. It does so by injecting a small amount of hydrocortisone over a period of time, monitoring how much the user's cortisol levels increase.
The system can be used with just a wrist sensor for when an Addison patient is just going about their day. However, through our extensive research, we noted that average consumers can benefit from knowing their cortisol level, as it can help with diagnosing depression, relieving stress-related mental disorders, and numerous other benefits.
Our survey of the general public determined that 79% of people would be interested in wearing a device that would provide them with their cortisol levels. Both Harold and Nathan Gifweek were beyond enthusiastic for the possibilities. Harold, being the president of Addison's Canada, was able to give us the invaluable opportunity to post our Addison survey in their quarterly newsletter, which is being sent out next month.
The Cortipatch system is approximately $1,310, with the wrist sensor costing $120 and the pod costing $1,010. We believe it would possibly fall under insurance.
After many different iterations, this version of the Cortipatch system takes under consideration many Addisonian patients' concerns regarding their physicality.
Sometimes something small can make the greatest difference.
So,
Okay.
didn't I say you might be blown away?
That was
Okay.
amazing.
So, one, I want to point out that they're in elementary school and they know cortisol and endocrinology and they're pronouncing those words right. Second, every single word was spelt correctly on that slideshow. That is mind-blowing. They know about biochemistry. When I didn't learn about like endothermic reactions until grade 5, and that was like the peak. Biochemistry, that's amazing. And then they ended up with a business model canvas. Who's teaching these kids? That's amazing. And you know what? Part of it is that they're not just being taught, they're teaching themselves. They're doing this research, they're finding the answers, and they're putting these presentations together so professionally.
Well, I think what impressed me the most is that there was just identified problem, and they went big. They went real big, you know. So like it's the ambition and then the ability to follow through on that with a realistic solution. And I also really enjoyed that there was a lot of empathy through that project. You know, they were, you know, they weren't trying to design something to make the most money. They weren't trying to design something, you know, it was about, hey, we researched this athlete and we think that we could do something to help him and people like him. And that I absolutely loved. And it was just kind of, it was so cool to see these details, you know, the fact that I mean, app development has become so second nature that the kids are just like comfortable in this world. And you know, like think about that, it senses your levels and then automatically doses. It's like these are things that just weren't even a concept 20 years ago. So congratulations to the Cordy Patch Kids. Jordan, what did you think of all this?
I was blown away, to be honest. Like as someone that wasn't in this program in elementary school, I wasn't even thinking of these things, like, biochemistry. So I was honestly blown away. And they were even talking about insurance, and they cited.
Yeah, the
So
bibliography. And the other thing is, it really didn't have much to do with robotics. And that's okay, because they were applying the same skills that you learn and you develop while building a robot, that same problem-solving path to normally the problem we're trying to solve is how do we score the most points, or how do we win the most matches? They took that same process and applied it to how do we solve this difficult problem of addressing how to best help people afflicted by this condition. And that was very, very cool. Congratulations to the Cordy Patch Kids. This is the first Lego League Challenge goodness that's out there. So if you're not involved, check this stuff out. Whether you want to start a team or become a mentor or volunteer at an event, volunteer as a judge, you get to see all of these presentations and ask them questions, which is, I think, pretty cool. Okay, speaking of judges, the judges had a very difficult time at this event because there were so many good teams to choose from. But they interviewed the teams during the week, and here are the results they came up with. So let's take a look at the award winners from the first Lego League Challenge Western Engineering Remote Qualifying event. The Rising All-Star Award went to Team 46965 Recharge. The Motivate Award went to Team 16024 Forest City Robotics. The Coach Award went to Konstantin Ossikin for Innovative Raccoons. Raccoons are always innovative. That's how they get into the green bins.
They're very, very smart. I've seen one ride a bike. Oh, look that video up. Raccoons are smart. There's a video of a raccoon riding a bike.
Okay, we're gonna have to check that out. And the raccoons also were so innovative, they won the Innovation Project Award, which is pretty cool too. The Robot Design Award went to the Turtlebots, Team 3939, who we saw earlier with that fantastic robot. Core Values Award went to Team 16539, Outsiders. Robot Performance Award, we already talked about the Turtlebots winning that one with 525 points. And then the Champions Award, which is the award in First Lego League Challenge, which is the most prestigious award. It encompasses all the areas, including robot performance, robot design, your research project, and core values, which are threaded across everything you do in First Lego League. So third place went to the Penguins, Team 47082, waddling around. Second place to the Cordy Patch Kids, who we've talked about already, 4875. And first place to Team 45059, the Greener Bots. And you can see many of these teams on May 15th at the Provincial Championship, which will be very, very exciting. And of course, thank you to all the amazing volunteers who helped put this event together. We had some great announcers. We had, Charles, everyone knows Charles, the ambassador of fun. We also had Shannon from London and from Western, who was a great announcer. And so we had a really good time. And there was all these amazing judges and people who put it together. And of course, the planning committee at Western Engineering. Thank you for all that you've done. But hey, guess what? There were 2 more events on the weekend. And so the next event,
so much fun in one day.
I know. The next event that we're going to be talking about is the North Bay event. Sydney, you know a little bit about this one, right?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to North Bay. Where is it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm from North Bay. It was an amazing event. There was, we talked about how you can't hear the people cheering anymore, but there was so much energy at the event that you could just feel it through the chat. You could feel it through the videos of the robots moving. There was teams dancing. There was robots dancing. It was just, honestly, it was like I was back home on the field with everyone.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think what we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take a look at we're gonna look at the highest scoring match from the event and one of the coolest presentation videos. So we got a lot of good stuff happening there. Now this was a bigger event, right, Cindy? There was like 22 teams at this one.
I think there was 21 teams, I
21
believe.
Teams, yeah. So
yes.
A little bit bigger and a lot of good stuff happening there. So thanks to the folks at North Bay for putting this one together. So let's take a look at this match video we got coming up. This is Team 44642, Lakeith Franco Batik, and they scored 475 points in this run. And whoa, check out their shirts. They got the We Are Connected shirts that you get for being a part of any of First Canada's virtual events this season. Because Lakeith Franco Batik came on First Canada Live back in the fall. So they were a part of the show. And I'm so glad they're rocking this flag. And wait till you see how complex this robot is. Just prepare to be wowed. So let's take a look at Team 44642.
Hi, I'm
Suzanne, and this is my co-pilot, Danielle. We are from a Kip Ponkabutsik, Team 44642.
Look at how much stuff there is jammed in there.
Some small inspection area.
As they go about their missions or whatever, there, in FRC back when you used to have to crate your robot up and you had to like put it in the crate and send it out. We used to joke about Team 469. They would just throw random things in their crate and they would just like assemble it all in competition. That was like a 469 level when they were like winning world championships. Just so impressive. So in similar, like it's really interesting because in First Lucky Challenge is like how you never see robots that look super, super light. This is very distinct from the last robot we saw, but still doing some of the same missions. And see, it goes back, they go basketball, they go to the shared mission, they go and now they're going to dump off their supplies over there. I should know these terms better. But we have game announcers, right, Sydney?
We had some fantastic game announcers, and for this event, we had 2 game announcers that never did FLL before game announcing, Anthony and Ella, and it was just a great event. It really showed their smarts.
There was a lot of energy there too. Ella, as a game announcer, I believe is a grade 9 or grade 10 student. So like, you're gonna be hearing her at a lot of events in the future, I think.
Yes, definitely. I think it's her first time in first year.
Wow. And so like, you see the line following going on here and the precision to move things. It's really, really impressive. What I love about FLL robots is that because you're limited in the amount of motors you can use in what's going on, you really have to reuse parts of your robot for different things, as opposed to like in FRC, you have like a ball mechanism and it just picks up balls and that's all it can do. These are like multifunctional utility arms. So here you see them going back to base, and when they're in the base, they can change the robot up a bit, which is a neat thing that you can do in First League Challenge. So they're putting on a whole new set of attachments, It's like, either of you remember Inspector Gadget? This is probably not a thing.
Yes.
Jordan?
Oh yeah, I watch Inspector Gadget.
So it's like these FLL robots. It's like Go Gadget step counter and Go Gadget treadmill.
Go Gadget flip the tire.
Yes.
And it's so cool because they still have like a limited amount of time, and like I'm watching like the 30-second countdown, and they're like changing out all this stuff on the robot. I'm like, go, and they're just so swift. It's exhilarating.
It's definitely a well-organized ballet.
Oh, look at them. Okay.
They're dancing.
They're dancing. The robot's dancing and the girls are dancing because they're doing the same move. There was a lot of teams mimicking the robot with the dancing going on. So I was a fan of that. I'm just kind of like Ruben here. I need my Lego bricks. I can't like.
Yeah, I don't know why you're talking about FLL without your 6 bricks.
There we go. Now we're going. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. We're going.
And for everyone watching, this is exactly what Karthik was doing behind the scenes that no one else could see
for 6
the
hours
entire day.
Going on.
Yeah. or the slow move.
Yeah, right here. We're right here. We're still here live on First Canada Live. But thank you, AQ Franco Botti. 475 points. Can't wait to see how their robot evolves throughout the season as we move towards the provincial championship. But there's more than these robots. We got a presentation. And this presentation, now Sydney, you and I were having a big debate about this team because you were thinking that they made a different noise because this is team 48-85, the Sparrows, and I'm pretty sure Sparrows go.
I think your mic cut out for me where you were trying to say caca again, and we've gone over it. We had a vote in the chat. It's tweet or chirp. Don't go caca. But I did foolishly say they went because I forgot how birds talk or tweet. Yeah, it's not caca.
Team Sparrows, very, very impressive. So let's take a look at their presentation. This is another one of those presentations where it's going to be like pretty cool. All right, Team Sparrows, let's check it out.
Good afternoon, judges. We are Team Sparrows, and this is our project presentation. Our project is called PandaBot.
The problem we are trying to solve is that older adults are exercising less because of aging and fear of accidents. The lack of exercising can result in developing chronic diseases associated with age, such as heart problems. Exercise can benefit you physically and mentally and can avoid symptoms of anxiety and depression. Older adults would rather stay home, but they won't be able to get proper care.
We talked to some experts about our project. We talked to Professor Fuller Thompson and asked her about the needs of elderly and how a robot can help.
Told us that elderly need love, companionship, exercise, good nutrition, and mental stimulation. She also told us that COVID-19 is a big problem for older adults because they can't fight the virus as well as some people. Another expert that we talked to is Hamza. He is a master's student and works in human-robot interaction.
Hamza told us that we should keep the robot's cost from $100 to $200. He also said that users should have the right to privacy and security. He said that the robot should be simple and reliable and that the robot's behavior should be slightly personalized. Some existing solutions are Pepper and Paro. They can monitor the elder's health using video and can alert family members or healthcare professionals in case of a medical emergency. They can remind them to take medicine, go to appointments, entertain them, and keep them company. However, they are very expensive.
Our solution is PandaBot. PandaBot has a few social aspects such as dancing, lighting up, talking to, and recognizing people. It also has a few degrees of freedom that can be used to guide exercise for older adults. PandaBot can also offer companionship to elderly and act as a health monitoring device. It will remind the elderly to exercise and exercise with them. Furthermore, PandaBot has a friendly and customizable appearance as well as simple and reliable functionalities. What does PandaBot do? PandaBot can dance, light up, talk to, and recognize people. PandaBot uses EV3 to control its arms and head to dance. PandaBot also has LEDs which are controlled with Arduino that can light up in 4 different colors. It talks to you using the text and speech feature in App Inventor. It is also trained to recognize people through the camera on a phone using a trained model and interacts with them.
How does the robot work? PandaBot measures environmental data such as the user's identity, engagement, boredom, health condition, level of activity, and attitude towards the robot. It then passes the measured information to a neural network, where a machine learning model predicts the best course of action for the robot to take. The model's division is passed through a verification algorithm to make sure it is appropriate. Then, commands are sent to the EV3 brick using Bluetooth. When the brick receives the command using Bluetooth, it moves its motors, generates speech, and lights up the LEDs. Then the person can interact with the robot, and the robot will keep measuring the user's state. This is our prototype development. The person interacts with the robot using the phone. The phone uses Bluetooth and sends commands to the EV3 brick, which sends commands to the motors, Arduino, and LED lights.
This is an example use case for PandaBot. Emma is an older adult. PandaBot helps Emma keep healthy and exercise. PandaBot can be Emma's friend and keep her company so she won't be lonely if nurses are busy. PandaBot also monitors Emma's health and makes sure she takes her medicine. PandaBot entertains Emma by talking to her and dancing too.
The prototype is $171. The estimated production cost is from $100 to $150.
Here's the demo of our prototype.
Hello, Chien. How do you want to see a dance or listen to a song?
Dance. Thank you for listening.
So Jordan, Karthik and I talked about this a lot after we saw this video. I want to hear what you think about PandaBot.
I think Pandabots, I think it's kind of funny. We have like a theme of dancing robots throughout today's stream. And so I really like Pandabot. So
Pandabot is so great. I hope there's a remix of the song that it sings. Nom 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 nom.
Nom nom. And
So good.
like
we could stream that at events.
Nom 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 nom.
DJ
nom,
Nick.
nom, nom,
We need the
nom.
nom nom song.
So okay, like on Pandabot, it's super cute, obviously, and the num num and everything. But like also like they're just casually dropping references to neural networks and AI and facial recognition to recognize boredom. I know like fully developed humans who can't recognize when people are bored because they just keep talking at me and they don't seem to understand. So like Pandabot is like more useful than like 40% of my friends. So I mean Pandabot, you are pretty fantastic, and the makers of Pandabot, the Team Sparrows, could be very, very proud. That is super
It's
cool.
Mind blowing.
Yeah, and they also working prototype. Anyone who's ever worked at a startup or been involved in that sort of world knows that so much of what you do is concepts and plans, but to get to a functional prototype, and I'm sure Sydney, this is something that you probably learned a lot about during your master's program. It's like
it's so much work, and as part of what I love about these pitches by the FLL students, I've actually showed them to current students in my master's program just so that they can see the level that goes into making a good pitch or just a presentation about the prototype or your concept. They put so much work into it, and we have some excellent future designers in the making, some future engineers, just some future leaders.
Yeah, nom 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 nom
nom nom nom nom nom. Songwriters.
All right, folks, let's take a look at the award winners from the North Bay remote qualifying event. And Breakthrough Award, Team 41925, Activate. Engineering Excellence Award, Team 5564, the Unknown Solvers. Rising All-Star Award, Team 5440, Anthurian. And the Motivate Award, Team 5931, Robot. Pondy River, Rodibot. Coach Award, Katrina Blankensworth from Team 38431, Ice Cream and Pie. Innovation Project Award, Team 3111, Dude, decent. Robot Design Award, Team 12513, T-Bots. And the Robot Performance Award, we saw a Keep Franco Botti, 44462 with the 475 points. Core Values Award, gotta remember those core values, innovation, discovery, and all the good stuff that goes along with it. Team 3021, Robotics Quintet. And our Champions Award winners, the two teams we actually featured. Second place, Team Sparrows, and first place, a Keep Franco Batik. So congratulations to all the North Bay teams. And then to wrap up today, we had the Windsor qualifying event, and we saw a lot of really, really cool stuff here, including a 520-point match, which was almost the 525 that we saw from the Turtlebots earlier, but that's just a smidgen. That's like one tiny little difference. And this was from Team 45025, Smart Diamond. So let's take a look at their video.
One, Lego.
So look at their robot, how much more real estate it takes up on the floor. That's a very different design, but then it leaves their attachment. It ditches it on the field. It's like, okay, we've used it, and now it's just going to stay there, which is another neat thing that you can do.
It definitely looks like it'll be able to maneuver around those corners a lot easier than the last robot we saw that was massive at the beginning.
And so they're taking advantage of the ability to come back to base, removing more stuff. So it's almost like the robot for those first few missions is starting very big because you don't necessarily need the maneuverability, but as they want to go to later missions, there's tight passageways, so you got to shrink down. So this is a creative way of doing it.
It evolves as it plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that
and it's kind of like, sorry, Jordan.
Is that an elevator on the robot?
That sure is an elevator.
It's really cool to see different things used in FRC, even used in FLL. So,
I was thinking about like the shedding of attachments. It's kind of like, when you're playing in the playground, when you're playing like foot hockey, for example, you want to wear like the big jacket and like the baggy pants to try and block shots. But then when you're going to be playing football, you want to like, get rid of the jacket and everything, sort of less stuff for people to grab onto. That's what the robots are basically doing.
As a person that played sports, yes.
Okay, they're switching it up. They're adding a little bit of a hook here, which is going to help them bring some of the stuff back to base and do some of the activities like the tire flipping and maybe the weight machine. And look at a really nice monitor they have at the side of the field.
I could not take my eyes off of that monitor. And
Yeah, curved
that's one of
screen.
the things with these home sent videos. You get to see people's innovative ways of displaying the time counter. And I think one of my favorites is the student that was holding the phone the whole time. And they casually look back and they're just still just holding the phone for the entire time.
Right, except they kept getting excited, so they would like start like turn around and like start jumping up and down. I think the summation of this is kids are adorable.
Oh, the excitement really shows on their face.
Yeah. All right, time's running down here. Let's see if they can get to the dance floor. Very well done by Smart Diamond. I think I counted that they hit, was it 9 of the missions, 10 of the missions? It was a fair bit. And now they're doing their dance. They got like a more discreet dance. It's like, you know, like the one person who just kind of like
It's the tap, the step and step.
Yeah, it's kind of like bobbing the shoulders. Great job, Smart Diamond. 520 points, and we'll see how their season continues and all the good stuff that goes on, you know. And, you know, let's now take a look at another presentation video. This time, another great team name, because I love these first LEGO League team names. Like, you know, Jordan, like Raider Robotics, that's like a dope name. And Sydney Ice Cube is a dope name, but it's not as dope as the Sporty Piggies.
That is very, very true.
Yeah, you know, so let's take a look at the impacted inclusion shown off in this presentation by the Sporty Piggies team 1567.
Hey, do you want to play soccer?
Sorry, I can't.
Why?
Well, I have diabetes and I have to have an insulin pump, and I don't want to break it.
Wait, I have something for you.
What is that?
It's a PPP pump protector pack.
Wow.
Put your pump here and loop the tube loosely, and there you go.
Thank you. Now let's go play soccer.
First, we had a few brainstorming sessions to decide which problem we are going to study. At the end, we had to choose between disability, motivation, and technology. We have chosen disability, and more precisely diabetes, because it is a very common problem, and we found out that we know many people who are suffering from diabetes. Diabetes is a disease that affects your body's ability to process sugar. There are 2 types of diabetes, and people who have type 1 diabetes must take insulin as a part of their treatment. Many of them now have to wear an insulin pump at all times.
We have studied the work of different people and organizations that help people with diabetes. For example, I Challenge Diabetes, Diabetes Canada, and Team Novo Nordisk, which is a professional cycling team that consists of athletes with diabetes. We also talked to a few people who exercise and live with diabetes, but our 2 biggest experts were Dr. Prendergast and Coach Christie.
Dr. Prendergast is a former athlete and a sports doctor. She told us about her experiences and helped us see all kinds of problems that athletes face while dealing with special conditions.
Craig Christie is a baseball coach for the Bluerdale baseball team. He contracted diabetes in 2010. He has to wear an insulin pump, but he still stays active. He gave us examples of many athletes who live with diabetes. For example, Max Domi, an NHL hockey player who is diabetic, Jay Cutler, a former NFL quarterback, and Adam Duvall, a Major League Baseball player. Craig told us a lot about his experiences. He showed us how the pump works. He also helped us to find a problem to solve.
People who have diabetes and who wear an insulin pump are afraid to be active and play sports because they are afraid of breaking the pump. Even athletes who have diabetes and wear an insulin pump always have to watch out with what they do so the insulin pump doesn't get damaged. So we decided to protect it.
Our solution is a case that is made out of soft but impact-resistant material like foam. The pump will be attached inside and the case will cover the pump, the needle patch, and the sensor, if there is one.
Inside the case, pump will be attached with Velcro and the tube will be rolled on a mini wheel loosely so that it does not snap. Protector pack will will be worn on a belt that goes around your waist where the pump is attached.
When we added up the price of the materials, we can estimate the price to be around $20. The price of manufacturing will be around $20 per pack. So the total price will be around $50, which is acceptable considering all the advantages.
There are other instant pump cases, but ours is unique. Our case is designed not only to carry the pump, but also to protect it from damage. It was specifically made for sports.
We have shared our invention with the coach Craig Christie and Mr. Frank Riga. Craig said that this case only carries the pump, not the accessories. He suggested that we think about comfort because the belt is worn near the skin. After this review, we decided to add a layer of comfortable, moisturized material to the back of the pack where it touches the skin. Another review, Mr. Frank Riga said that they make accessories like this for sports. However, nothing that is made out of a foam material to prevent damage. Also, he thinks it is great to keep a pump like his nice and snug to the bottom during extreme workouts, as it can tend to bounce around a lot.
This little piggy went to market, and that little piggy invented a case for your insulin pump. Well, that's so, again, the empathy involved to see that, some people may be restricted in what they can do and to try and come up with a solution for that. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I want to highlight a sentence they said in there because it's super important. It's he helped us find our problem to solve. And that's so important because you'll see like a problem area and you'll be like, I want to fix something to do with this. But you really have to build empathy, get to know your users, get to know the people that are dealing with this problem area on a day-to-day basis to figure out what exactly needs to be fixed or what exactly needs to be improved. So that was very smart and very impressive that they knew to seek out information to find specifically what problem to solve.
And we've been talking a little bit about how core values is threaded through everything that happens in FLL. And, one thing that we haven't touched about yet is teamwork. But when you watch all of these presentations, we don't even speak about the teamwork because they're working so seamlessly as a team. It's not one person presenting the whole time telling us everything. It's, a group of 6 students or some, in some cases, the numbers vary, who've all worked on this together. And at the same time, one of the other core values that we haven't talked about is fun. And I think we've seen that throughout all these videos, from the dancing excitement of the robot, or even just the cool confidence of knowing your programs worked and just walking around the table, that energy to it, and the presentations, that they're playing around, and, the panda is dancing. There's just a lot of fun, and that's part of the whole experience of First LEGO League Challenge. And it's really, really cool to see. So, you know what? Windsor event, great teams. Let's take a look at some of the award winners. The Windsor Remote Qualifying Event. Engineering Excellence Award with Team 51306 Techno Grands. Rising All-Star Award, Team 1567, the Sporty Piggies, who we just saw. Coach Award to Damian Lozada from Team 51306 Techno Grands. And the Innovation Project Award, Team 22062 LaSalle Rosie Bots. Robot Design and Robot Performance with the Team 45025 Smart Diamond. Can't wait to see that robot again. The Core Values Award, Team 27091, UMS, Team Fitness Fix. And then our Champions Award, 3rd place, Team 27345, Activate 1. 2nd place, 37527, Brave Robots 3000. I love you, 3000. And 1st place, Team 5932, Robo Dominator. So congratulations to all the teams that competed this weekend at the Windsor, North Bay, and Western Engineering events. And thank you to the amazing volunteers who helped put all of this together. City, did you have a fun weekend of First LEGO League action?
I keep saying I had so much fun and it's so exciting. And agree. I can't wait to see what they do at provincials, because even though they are autonomous, all of the teams get a ref review or score review where they're given tips on how they can improve their game. So I know between the time that they competed this weekend and the time that they're competing at provincials, they're going to be changing up their code. They're going to be changing up their choreography, and they're just going to be having a lot of fun. I can't wait to see how they improve their game and what they do.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Sydney. Always a blast to have you on the show, and we will be seeing you next at the STEMathon. Are you excited for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I had so much fun last time.
In 30 seconds or less, why should people sign up for the STEMathon?
People should sign up for the STEMathon because they get to do these really cool projects like you could see during FLL that we just showed, and they get to have fun with teams, they get to have fun with mentors, and it's a really, really fun time to test and use your brain.
Yeah, and you can work with Sydney. Sydney might be your mentor. You might be on Sydney's team, which would be a very exciting experience for everyone. So thanks, Sydney, for coming on. And we are going to be back in just one moment. We're going to take a look at this video from a sponsor from Windsor, which is the last event we just showed, Centerline. Hey, and we're back. All right, Jordan, it's that time. It is time for story time, where we interview members of the First community, alumni, volunteers, all sorts of goodness. And this next person we have is absolutely fabulous. I met her at a Girls in First weekend a few years ago. She is a machinist from Windsor, Ontario. Her name is Elizabeth Moses. Elizabeth works in automation at Harbour Technologies. She is an alumni of the FRC program and is the trade ambassador for First. Elizabeth graduated from the machinist program at St. Clair College in 2019 and is the 2021 alumni of distinction. Elizabeth was awarded Canada's Most Powerful Women Top 100 Award by the Women's Executive Network, WXN, for her work in the skilled trades. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I am so happy to be here.
Elizabeth, we are super happy to have you here because you have a really cool story, and it's always a good time chatting with you and hearing your insights and advice for the First community. And so I guess, let's just start this from the top, Elizabeth. But what is your first journey? Like, where did your journey begin and where are you now?
Well, my journey first began in high school, and it was with the first robotics competition. So that's where I started. And for me, I never knew how to build a robot, but it was an opportunity that my teacher wanted me to pursue. And he said, come and join my team at first and everything like that. And honestly, I loved it. I did it for 3 years. I participated in that competition. I remember the competition was incredible. We had built some really cool robots and competed with so many incredible teams from the First community. And then after high school, I decided that I was going to pursue the skilled trades because I just love building things and I love working on machines. So I started that out as well. And I did that for about 3 years working in machining. So I did that for a while and I loved it. And to me, it's a fun job. It's amazing to be able to do that every day. It's a great experience for anybody who ever wants to get into it.
And so within the skilled trades, specifically, which area do you work in?
For me, I work in machining. So I work right now, I'm working on, I built parts like metal components for all the machines right now. We're doing automation. So my company, we're working towards, actually we have done already, we're doing mass. We do medical mass, we're also working in the nuclear industry, but right now we're known for Canada wide because we're the first, like Harbour Technology is the first company in Canada, partnered with the Nova Textiles in British Columbia. They're the first company to make the Canadian N95 mask. So they saw the supplier challenge and they took up the challenge. We're going to make them. They made the mask, and it's such an amazing thing to know that here in Canada, and here to be able to work in a company that has done that. It's incredible. And also too as well, they're working on 14 new robot lines that are going to do surgical gowns. So I'm looking forward to seeing that soon. So it's an amazing opportunity to work at this place. I've just been working there right now for the last 3 months, and I'm just loving it. It's amazing.
That's very neat, Elizabeth, because when you think about it, like when you think of like things like masks and surgical gowns, you might not realize that robotics and machines are involved in that. I think a lot of people think of that as like, oh, like someone's probably just stitching them up, but like there's like an automated process for that, right?
Absolutely. There's also like ultrasonic welding too, and like there's so many things that come into play. And we have like I've seen some of the machines they're working on, the robots and stuff like that, like the automation side of stuff, and it's incredible. Honestly, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Just seeing the lines and stuff, watching the mass being welded, everything moving along the lines too as well. It's incredible. It's something that is extraordinary.
That is very, very cool. Jordan, do you have a question for Elizabeth?
Yeah, it was so awesome you talking about your first experience, and I definitely related to all the different triumphs in first and that really great feeling of being in first robotics competition. So do you have any proudest moments in first?
I think, in a sense for me, the proudest moments I've ever had in first robotics, it was going back now, it's going to be my first year, because that year was it was the first time being in the competition. That year was aerial assist. That was the competition back in 2015. Actually, no, I believe 2015 or so. And that competition right there, we had to build a robot that could take a exercising ball and throw it as well. So it was pretty challenging at first building the bot, but after going to the first competition, like I was out in Toronto, it moved, and it was just probably one of the most proudest moments, because you spent hours, you spent nights building the bot, just hoping that it would move and be able to be functional at the competition. And that's probably one of the proudest moments I've ever had in first. And it's something that I would never forget, because that was the first time I got to see all that stuff that we worked on come to life, move and work. It's something that, everybody I think is proud of. And that's probably one of the proudest moments that everyone has as a first student.
There's something special about actually creating something that didn't exist, that was a pile of parts, or not even a pile of parts. It was like things you saw on a website that you may have ordered and put together, and then actually making it move. It's just like, wow, it feels like magic to a certain degree, and it's like after a while, and like for those of us who've been doing this for so long, you kind of get used to that. But there's nothing like that first time your first robot moves, whether it's in first Lego League or wherever. So it's really neat. We call this segment story time, Elizabeth, because we bring on people to tell stories about their experience in first or whatever. Do you have like a favorite story or something that you've seen or been a part of in first that you wanted to share with us today?
For me, I think an incredible story. It's not even my story. I think it's Jaylene from 772. She's a Dean List Award winner. Her story is just amazing. I think she's incredible. She I watched her grow as well through first, and there's so many people that I look up to, and even your story too as well, Carter. I think is incredible. I remember hearing your story at the Girls in First weekend, and I think it was amazing. I was so inspired by you, just to see how much work you put into first, and how much you're so passionate, and how much you're willing to help others. And that's the thing about the first robotics community. I just love seeing so many people help, putting their efforts forward as mentors, leading as well. And that's what I love about first. I enjoy seeing everyone just support each other.
There's something, it's so visceral. You go to our events and people are just like naturally helping. And if you've never been to an event, you might not understand what's going on first, but then you suddenly hear these announcements in the pit. It's like, hey, does this team have this wrench or whatever? Then someone's running with the wrench all of a sudden. It's just like, oh, this is what people do. And then you're like, well, I want to help too. And it's just so, yeah, it's like, it's friendly. It like that we can maintain this level of competition, but everyone's still helping each other and taking care of each other and like checking on everyone and how you're doing. it is some beautiful stuff, right, Jordan?
Oh, 100%. And I know whenever I'm at a competition and our team hears these people, I'm like, oh, do we have this part? And then we see every other team looking to see if they have this part. So it's really great. And talking about your time in machinery at Arbor Technologies, it was really cool hearing that and how that's translated to now pandemic mask making and surgical garment making. So I was just wondering, how did you get into machinery? Like, what school did you go to and what did you study? And did you have any specific reasons for choosing the program or school?
Yeah, and for me, I started out. I went to actually to St. Clair College here in Windsor, Essex. So I went to St. Clair College. I decided to pursue I did a pre-apprenticeship program. So what a pre-apprenticeship program is that they teach you all the skills you need prior to getting to a trade. So it's kind of like a back way door of getting to the trade because you'll get the knowledge first and the experience of like learning how things are built and how to like run machines. And then you work in the industry afterwards, the program, and you start your apprenticeship there too. So the reason why I did the program is because for me, I didn't really know where I wanted to go after I finished high school exactly. And I didn't really have like a ton of money to commit to a 4-year program or 3 or 4 year program, whether it's college or university at the time. And I said to myself, I think this is a great opportunity. It was free at the time. So, and it just fit me. Hearing about the program, it just fit me exactly. It was just the right fit and I was the right person for it. And I just loved building things. I just knew that I would love this. It would be something that I would enjoy. And my experience with FIRST Robotics really something that it helped me get into this program as well, because all the memories that I had in high school was from FIRST. So when I started out in the program at St. Clair College, I had an awesome time. Like everything was really a great experience. Like all the teachers were helpful and we had everything given to us. Like we got all our tools for free. I have a toolbox. So I'm telling you, I have like this massive toolbox. I have all these tools. I have all these equipment, everything that I need for the program. They provided it. It was free tuition. I got all my textbooks free. I just had everything that I needed. I couldn't say I can't pursue it. They had everything I needed to go into this opportunity. And once I got in there, I was just so grateful that I had a chance to try something new too as well. And after that program, I started working out in Windsor. First, I worked at a mold company I worked there for about 3 years before I got into automation now. And for me, I did my entire apprenticeship. It was some companies pay for it, so my apprenticeship was paid for. Like my actual apprenticeship was paid for my schooling. So I went to school for free. I went to school debt free. So I'm so grateful to just be part of this program because skilled trades have so many things to offer. I don't think a lot of people know. So for me, I loved it. I still love it. And I love doing this every day. This is what I love to do. And I just find joy in working in this type of field and doing this type of work.
There's nothing better than hearing from someone who loves their job. It's just like that's like the goal I think that we all should have, to be happy and enjoying what you're doing, because life is short, and if you're spending 40 hours a week not loving what you're doing or not being passionate about what you're doing, it's hard, it's a struggle. And so it's just really it's great to hear that FIRST has helped you find that direction and you found that direction on your own, and you had a great school like St. Clair College to get you going for all that sort of stuff. So International Women's Day is coming up, and that's very, very exciting. And we know that still in STEM, there still is a STEM gap that's been talked about. But Elizabeth, in your time in STEM and in FIRST, have you faced any challenges as a woman?
For me, my challenges were in the beginning. I find that it's hard sometimes when women want to pursue these opportunities like STEM or the trades. They don't really have the support. Like when I wanted to become a tradesperson, it was so hard for me. I had a lot of people telling me that it was the worst decision I was making with my life. So I said, I'm going to do it. I don't mind struggling. People told me I was going to fail. And that was probably one of the hardest things for me to hear. But I said, I'm going to do this opportunity regardless. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to push through. And that's something I think is really important because parents need to really support their children and their dreams and who they want to become too. And I had to prove myself, and I had to really push my parents to say, I'm going to do this. And I had to work really hard for that support, but they've been with me throughout this entire experience. They know everything I've been through. And that's just one thing. And then the other challenges are once they get into these opportunities and start working in this industry, women have to work really hard to just get the same experiences or opportunities as men sometimes. It's really important that employers really help, like if for a person to pursue the trades or STEM, that as well they allow them to grow in this career. Like there's no limitation. We're trying to always work in that in STEM and trades, just as even any company always having opportunities available, allowing people to grow in their fields, really allowing them to just be, as great as they can be to as well, to serve their company in the best way they can. And then there's opportunities to as well, just I struggled a lot too as well when I was there, just being confident that I was there first in the beginning, because I was one of the only few women in the entire place. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of men, and it was hard for me. And first I struggled to just feel like I belonged there. But over time, I really worked hard to prove my abilities, to show that I want to work there, that I belong here. And over time, I earned that respect from men too as well, working the trades, just being in this type of fields and stuff like that. So that's another thing. And that's what I've been through and that's what I've experienced. And these challenges, we're working every day. I'm hopeful for the future. I'm hopeful for all the girls in first. I'm hopeful for everybody that the future will be better and things will change over time. We just need more students to pursue opportunities for things to change. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, and it's a combination. We need more students to pursue opportunities, and we need more, mentors and people to guide people to say, like, yeah, you should try the trades, and you can do this. And you said it took you time to kind of realize that you belong. We as mentors, it's our job to make sure that people feel like they belong because we know they are. We know they're capable. It's the challenge is making sure that they know that they're capable. And going back to what Jordan was talking about in the opening about compliments, like so often so many people out there, they are their biggest critic and their hardest on themselves. So when you compliment them, you might think it's obvious. They probably know that, like I'm going to say like, Elizabeth, you're so awesome, inspiring. You're clearly very talented, but you may not have heard that yourself. And then you're like, oh, wow, someone thinks that. And so that's part of the whole cycle of it all, right, Jordan?
Yeah, and it's really inspiring to hear your story and through the adversity that you faced as a woman in the skilled trades. And so I'm sure with that comes a lot of wisdom. And so I just want to ask, like, what is your best piece of advice for first students, especially the girls in first?
Well, my advice for the students in first, like I'll give you the advice if I was there and had to start this journey all over again. My advice for the students there would be believe in yourself. Never limit yourself to as well in your goals. You never know who you're going to become, what the future holds for, and never be scared of change. That's one thing too. I know people fear change. You can't avoid change. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen regardless. Life is constantly changing. And coming back to the point where I'm going to say that too as well, like Karthik said, you need to talk positively to yourself, like positively. And you need to always talk because your words are powerful. So what you believe that you are and who you'll become, it's very important that you always encourage yourself, always believe that you can, never put yourself down. Words count and words do matter too as well.
I love that. Words matter is so, so important because number one, people need to hear things, but number two, like so often people use words flippantly, but like our choice of what we say can have such a huge impact. You don't realize that one little thing that you say to someone might ring in their head for months, years. So it's really, really important like that. And so, Elizabeth, on your journey, you've talked about, a lot of opportunities that you've had and things that First has provided. But has there been one person who's kind of inspired you along the way? Like who's kind of been your biggest inspiration?
For me, like all through the experience of First Robotics, I'm going to go back to my high school teacher again, because without him, he's the first trade person that I met. And when I wanted to pursue the trades, he was the first person that supported me. Majority of people didn't. And he stuck by my side. He said, you know what, Elizabeth, I believe in you. And till this day, he is the most proudest person. And he's so proud of what I've done, and he's proud of my work, and he's proud that I finished all this stuff, like going to school, going to trade school, completing this process. So for that, I am very grateful that I met him. I was able to pursue first, like not even just be part of the competition and then go into skilled trades. Because for me, I've always wanted to show too as well, like that's what it means when you believe in someone. When you believe in someone in their career as well, they can really grow. And that's one of the most important things. That's why I'm trying to my best to always encourage young girls and to encourage just the students of first robotics to just keep growing and keep learning in their career as well. And just hope I'm happy to see the growth the first. I'm so happy to see everyone today. Jordan, too as well. He's incredible. Like you're amazing. And even Sydney, everybody here, just because, we all start from somewhere and we all need support along the way.
It's very, very true. So, we talked a lot about, first we talked about robots, we talked about automation. Elizabeth, is there something else that you're passionate about or something awesome that you do, a hobby, a skill that's not related to FIRST at all?
For me, like when I'm not in the FIRST, not doing all this stuff with FIRST and everything, I love to draw. Like I love art. Art is something that I've been doing since I've ever been, like when I was a kid. I love drawing portraits. Like I do portraits of people. That's something that I like to do. Like I love just seeing the people's reaction when they receive them too. Because not everyone gets drawn. Like you never expect someone to draw you. Like that's not something that really happens. But I've been doing that for some time now, and I love it. For me, it's just a way for me to disconnect and just focus on something. Get everything down to as well. I just love it. Just taking the details. You have to be passionate about taking every little line, every stroke, every single thing. And sometimes it's hard, art is very challenging. I love the challenge that it presents to.
So within arm's reach, do you have a piece of art you can show us?
I do. I can get something right now, actually.
Let's do it.
Give me 1 sec. Let me grab.
Let's do it. We got time.
Yeah, let me grab my sketchbook. I have some portraits in there. So give me 1 sec.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
This is what I love about First Canada Live, Jordan. Like we just we improvise. We were talking skilled trades. Now we're talking art. Go for it, Elizabeth.
1 second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
This is live and happening there.
And even with art, like art's really related to like science and robotics. In art you have to be really creative and like take the creative liberties to make, as Elizabeth was talking about, each stroke, each brush, and then within like programs within FIRST, you have to be really creative in your robot.
I'll just show everybody.
Yes, let's see this.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So I'm going to show everyone the portraits that I draw. So for me, I took the summer to draw some portraits. So this right here is a portrait of one of my mentors, someone I just admire. This is Yvonne.
Yvonne Pilon from the planning committee in Windsor.
Yeah, and she's also known for FIRST. So she does she does We Tech Alliance. So I drew her portrait. And then I drew a portrait as well of my friend. She's on BC. She's an electrician. She's a woman in trades. She's the same age as me. She's just finishing up her electrical there. So she's on BC. I drew a portrait of her too as well. So yeah, I just draw some portraits. That's something that I do.
That's fabulous. We all need hobbies and we all need distractions and whatever. I love that you found something that like is really in tune with you and detail oriented, as you said, because obviously with what you do in the trades as a machinist is super detailed as well. So it's just like taking that skill set and applying it in another direction. So we got a little bit of time here, which is fun. That means we can talk about anything we want. But before we do that, Elizabeth, do you have any questions for either Jordan or for myself?
Jordan, I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear everything about FIRST so far, like everything about you, when you started, how long you've been doing this. What do you love the most? Tell us your story.
Oh, wow. See, the way that I came to FIRST Robotics is kind of funny because initially there was like 2 after school activities that I was kind of interested in. And one of them was choir. And so like, okay, I joined choir without thinking about it, went to 1 or 2 like practices or whatever. And I was like, this isn't for me. So I ended up doing that. And so I went to a parent teacher night later that year. And I was talking with my grade 9 math teacher, with my mom, and my grade 9 math teacher was also coincidentally lead mentor for the robotics team. And so my mom just brought it up to like my math teacher. She's like, "Oh, is robotics still going on? Is like, could Jordan get involved in that?" And I was like, "Mom, don't talk about robotics. That's not something I'm interested in." And so it was like, yeah, my math teacher was really enthusiastic about it. And so I ended up going to meetings, even though I was a bit late to the game. And now I'm like 3 years in robotics. I'm, full throttle. I'm so excited about FIRST. And I mean, FIRST has opened up so many doors for me. Like if I hadn't joined the robotics team at school, I would have not done any of the things. Like I wouldn't even be here today, right? So it's just FIRST changes lives. So I'm really grateful to my grade 9 math teacher and everyone in FIRST. So
that is awesome. It's so cool to hear everyone's story like that. So a couple minutes left here, but like, let's say, Elizabeth, what is one recommendation you have of a show that people should stream and watch?
A show.
Yeah. Or something that you're watching right now and you're just like, wow.
For me, I love anime. I'm starting
Okay.
I'm getting back into the old animes and everything like that. So great animes to watch. I recommend first Bleach. I don't know if anyone knows that. It's pretty awesome. Death Note's pretty good. I don't know if you're really into like kind of like scary but not truly. I would watch The Promised Neverland. I don't know. It's another Netflix series.
Jordan seems to know it.
Yeah,
I
he
love
knows.
that
You
show.
love it. I can't wait for season 2, but it's incredible, honestly. And it's not what you expect. It's not what you expect. It looks so joyful, and it's just a bunch of children, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It has so many twists and turns. The story's constantly changing. It is crazy. And then too as well, something else I would recommend, what's called Full Metal Alchemist. So that's a really good anime. I'm just getting back into the old anime. Like I've had so much time on my hands now because of COVID. So I'm just rewatching the animes, getting back into that. Like I miss the stories. It's amazing. I just love how creative people can be and just what they can create.
Very, very cool. Hey, Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on the show. We love having you a part of everything we do at FIRST. We can't wait till we have in-person events so we can see you there, and that'll be awesome again. But thanks for coming on, sharing your story. I think it's been very inspirational for all of us, and we really appreciate your time, and thanks for being an advocate for this program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night too as well. I hope you enjoyed the program. I'll see you then another time. So
thank you,
bye.
Elizabeth.
I'll see you then.
See you.
And to everyone, thanks for all our guests for coming on the show. Sydney, we talked to FLL, all the FLL teams that we featured, all that good stuff. It was a really great time. And, but guess what? We're going to be back here next week, Jordan. And next week, we're going to be doing a wrap-up of the FLL Challenge Waterloo remote qualifying event. Also, we got a couple of FRC team showcases. We're going to have Team 865, Warp 7, and Team 4917. They're going to be on talking about how their season's been going and all the good stuff that they've been up to. And we have story time with Tegan Poles. Tegan, we saw her on for the Kahoot Challenge just a couple weeks ago, but she's going to be talking about her first experience, but also her experience as a motorsport star. She drives race cars, which is like pretty wild if you're asking me. So everyone, thanks for a great show. Please stay safe out there. We are, we're getting there. We're getting there with COVID. Stay safe, stay distanced, do all the good stuff that your local health advisors are telling you to do. And focus on your mental health because, we know school is stressful right now and there's a lot going on. Jordan's nodding his head. It's like, oh yeah, school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, take care of yourself. Like, work as hard as you can, but also take care of yourself as hard as you can, if that makes any sense. All right, folks, it has been another great episode of First Canada Live. Thank you to our producers and our moderators in chat. And we will see all of you next week, or some of you Saturday at 10 for the FLL Challenge. Bye, folks.